know exactly where he's planning on sieging up these tanks. Could
Maybe
siege
on
them
that
up
low
down
ground.
south.
Checking for a third base, I think, coming in from a different angle as well. Maybe he thinks that TT1's got an observer out in the front, so he wants to come at this methodically. He is going to siege up on the low ground here and use the Medivacs and the Raven to get the sight to the high ground. Siege blasts go off. Thermal Lances is still about 30 or 40 seconds from being done. So this is going to cause a lot of damage to TT1, and Sjow's unit composition and timing is phenomenal this game. He's got the Vikings out to deal with the Colossi. He's got Stim and Medivacs with a ton of energy. He's got Hellions to deal with Zealots. This is just a fantastic composition. TT1's going to try to flank him here, but I don't know if it's going to be successful. He needs to wait for Thermal Lances. No. Is he going to go right towards the base?
I think he is. I think he's going to try and do a straight-up base trade here, and I don't think it's really going to be in his favor.
Oh, I like this idea. Sjow is sending his Hellions to the mineral line and the rest of his army to deal with TT1's army here. Siege tanks
he needs
aren't
to siege up. He does have the point defense drone, though, which is doing quite a bit of defense. Lifted up those 3 tanks, bringing them further back. He has to siege them up. Sieging them up right there could have been huge to deny him from going back into his own base to do some defense. All these Hellions have been wreaking havoc.
Yes, they have a ton of kills. The siege tanks here are taking out this pylon. The Raven did live. The Medivacs are still alive, but TT1 is pushing in now here on Sjow's base.
Will there be enough to defend against this? Currently, no.
And Sjow saved the majority of his SCVs here and put them towards his main base. The rocks are gone. Ugh, Sjow's base is in a little bit of trouble here. TT1 may be able to steal a game off Sjow here.
He does have Stim on those Marines. 1 Marauder joining the fray.
Siege tanks are in siege mode now. That is going to be crucial to hold off this push.
He drops those 3 siege tanks from before back in the main base. He has a substantial defense now.
So both players, their incomes have been diminished here. We got 48 Harvesters, 49 for TT1 to 38 for Sjow. He's just getting his natural back up and running. Meanwhile, TT1's going to take out the destructible rocks here at the gold base at the 5 o'clock, you want to call it. 4.5 o'clock. 4:30.
Whatever. I use digital clocks.
Grow up. Oh, good times.
Indeed. All right. Unit composition of Sjow is back to its former power already. He's already been able to macro up a ton of Marines. He's got Marauders this time around, which he didn't have. And he's also building up 2 more Vikings on the way. Why did I just have a brain fart and not think of the word Viking? But oh, we have an Octo drop making its way up north, making sure that there's no expansion here on the left side. He may be able to sneak straight into the back. It looks like that's the battle plan.
But TT's push is just massive here. 4 Colossi with extended thermal lance. No upgrades, unfortunately, unlike White Raw in the previous set. TT1 just shows that he's really not that interested in upgrades. Taking out a few supply depots, drastically supply locking Sjow. Tons of Vikings are queued up in production right now. And that siege tank is not coming out because he's got no depots.
And here come all these Vikings to deny all these Colossi. 1 already goes down. He has not dropped a point defense drone yet. There it is. Point defense drone goes down. 2 point defense drones. Brilliant move. He'll be able to take out these Colossi, no problem.
Oh, jeez. Vikings landing after all the Colossi die. These Zealots are going to be completely wiped out as well. The siege tanks almost all got cleaned up. There's a few left. Vikings raised back in the air. With this amount of Vikings, I think TT1 should be switching pretty much to completely Immortals. Get off the Colossi. They're great unless you can really deal with this many Vikings.
And another Colossi on the way, more Vikings on the way. The drop happened in the back of TT1's base and did a bit of damage, but not a lot. There were some Stalkers waiting there at the back to be able to take that out. But here comes the counter push from Sjow. Will this be enough to take the match and today's round for Europe?
If he loses this base, it might be, but it's really hard to say at this point. TT1's army is completely out of position, and it's really just not that impressive. The 8 Zealots that he does have do not have charge yet, and oh, is that... ugh, there's just so many Vikings out in the field right now. The Raven does not have enough energy for the point defense drone anymore. He laid
And
down
Sjow
2.
is going for the kill. 5 barracks being built up right now. He's about to macro up a storm of Marines and Marauders. And there's already so many Vikings out in the field. Colossi will not be able to do anything. They are trying to attack here at the front of the natural expansion, though, but here come all the Vikings for defense.
He needs to get his army back in position because he's got 2,300 minerals. He can macro up completely right after he holds off this push, but until then, his units are going to be picked off one by one as they pop out.
He's deciding not to push in yet.
Waiting for those Colossi to get out of position, and there they go. The Stalkers get taken out as well, or will get taken out right away. These tanks are just going to mow through them. The Zealots got cleaned up pretty quickly, and I think this is going to be pretty much it. Now that these barracks are all unhindered and producing, with another 1,200 minerals in the bank, he's going to be able to produce a lot of Marauders, a lot of Marines. He does not have Combat Shield, which he probably should have by now. But nonetheless, he is going to be in a very good position.
All these Vikings making their way across the map. The Vikings have been the deciding factor in all 3 matches, really, just taking out the Colossi.
And TT1 now is switched over to Immortals, but it's just a little bit too late, I think, because now that the 5 barracks are in play, there's going to be a lot of Marines to rip them apart. But the Zealots
He's actually dropping
charge.
the Vikings.
Oh, Vikings just rip apart Immortals with their such a fast attack speed. They just tear the shields off the Immortals really quickly.
Continuing the push, I believe he still does not have siege tech. No, he does have siege tech. What am I saying?
Yes,
He's just not using it. He wants the DPS instead. Landing those Vikings again to take out that one last Immortal. Pulling in the probes as a last desperate measure here. But TT1, I think, there it is.
The massive G's.
And there it is. Sjow takes it clean 3-0 to win a point for Europe in the Europe versus America Challenge.
Absolutely. So that's 2 series to nothing for Europe. And big thanks once again to Steelseries for sponsoring this, and StarCraftSource.com, the money and the headsets and the glory for Europe versus America. And join us again tomorrow, same time, same place. We will be doing 2 more series of matches. Do you know who they are yet?
Yes, we do. I can look that up for you in just a moment. Let's look up if I could spell, StarCraftSource.com. Come on, computer, you can work.